It's time to revisit the Civil War. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Paul Knapp coming to you, well, not from the man cave, but from the man cave dining room, I guess. It is the 4th of July, 2024, and it is about 95 degrees out today, which makes my garage, the man cave, about 100 degrees or so. So I thought I'd bring it inside to go over the next playset review and continue a project that I started about a year ago. So we are going to take a closer look at the 3-piece Conte playset from the War of Northern Aggression, or as most of us refer to as the American Civil War. So now I posted a video on this playset, or this 3-part playset, about a year ago when I finally found the 3rd part to this diorama playset, if you will, and I'll show that to you. But I think it's time to work on this project, do a little painting, and see what we can do over this 4-day weekend that I have. Now, those of you that follow my channel, you know that I am a 1/32 scale plastic toy soldier collector. Have been for years, and this is a set that I finally found the last piece to about a year ago. This is the War of Northern Aggression Conte playset, and it is a 3-part playset. This is one section alone right here. It does require about 3 boxes to store this. And the reason I'm bringing this out is, well, I think it could use a better paint job. They do an okay paint job when they build these things, but it's real basic. And you know, you can notice here a lot of stuff isn't painted. Everything's one color with the exception of the grass and the fort. So I'm gonna work on this over the next 4 days, since I have a 4-day weekend coming up here, and hopefully improve this a little bit, and then set up a little diorama for my 4th of July weekend. Now, if you collect toy soldiers, I'm sure you're aware of Richard Conte. If you're not, Mr. Richard Conte came onto the market, I believe, 2000. This playset here is dated 2003. I want to say this is the 2nd playset. I think he started with the World War II figures and then moved on to the Civil War. I could be wrong, but his figures, very well known in the collector's market when it comes to plastic toy soldiers. They are definitely a lot bigger, more fuller, rounder. I don't know how to explain it, but probably slightly bigger than Mark's 1/32 scale, more like 54 millimeter, maybe 56 millimeter. But you can see this 3-part playset is just ginormous. I did a video on it last year. You can look that up. So what I'm going to do is take these 3 pieces. Even though they are painted okay, I'm going to doctor them up and make them look a little better. And that gives me a little project to work on for the next 4-day weekend. So the first thing I'm doing is checking to make sure these guys line up evenly. And what I noticed already from this, I guess, right section, as you're looking at it from the front, it definitely has a little wobble to it. It's not laying flat. So I'm going to shave down. I think what's happening is this was made a little bit too deep, so I'm going to shave that down, and hopefully that will take care of the rocking. And then I'm probably going to end up just painting these sections here black in between, so maybe when you line them up you won't notice, just in case there is a section like that. I don't know. We'll see how that is by ear, but you can see how this is way out of whack, not lining up. Middle section looks okay. I got to check the left side too. Okay, so you can see here I shaved quite a bit from that center section here underneath here, and it is still wobbly. So I know it's not touching from underneath. The only thing I can think of, it is warped over the years, so there's no real fixing it. What I'm going to have to do is, when I line it up evenly with the other section, I'm probably going to drill 2 holes, put a dowel rod in there, and drill 2 holes on the other piece, and this way they'll attach, and there won't be such a gap. So that's my idea on how to level these up. If you guys have anything better idea that you can share with me, please put that in the comments. Now you can see the adjustments I'm going to have to make on this left portion here. This one is totally level. It's not rocking at all, but it does not line up very well with the center section. So I'm going to have to kind of trim this out, bring it down to line up with that. Put two dowel rods in there as well. Probably have to figure out a way to trim some of this down. The center section is called the crater, I believe. It's supposed to represent the crater in Vicksburg, I'm assuming, although I'm pretty sure it was much larger than this. But I'm excited to get started painting. Okay, so I have all the foam pieces trimmed. Had to trim these up a little bit so they could be removed easily. But they still have a snug fit, so there's two of those. One on that piece, one on this piece, and this is going to be my go-to piece. I painted this piece several years ago. This is a Barzo original piece, now LOD, I believe, owns this mold, and it was from one of the Revolutionary War sets, but I kind of like the colors. I don't know how that's showing up on camera. I did do flocking on this. I probably won't do flocking on this only because it's grass, and you want to see those cuts. They're basically sod pieces that they cut and put in there, so I'm not going to put flocking on top of that, but I want to keep the same brown color for both that and the gabions. So I've decided to start my painting with this center section. This one needs the least amount of detail to it. It's just a giant explosion, so I'm going to highlight some of the features in there, wagon wheels and barrels and things like that, but the rest of it are basically just going to be painted blacks, browns, and grays, I think. So again, I'm kind of using this as my go-to for my colors for the dirt and wood and gabions. Now, once again, before I start my painting on this, I just want to remind people this does come painted in, basic colors. Conte or whoever designed this, they do a good job, and they do send it to you painted. So don't think you have to paint these things, but most of the foam pieces that I get are kind of painted like this, like a quick, airbrush, and not a lot of detail done to them. They're made to be painted. These things are made to be painted. They give you a start, so you're not starting with just a blank slate, and then you definitely want to do some detail and highlight some things. So I just want to let people know that if you like it like this, don't touch it, man. Leave it. But mine's damaged a little bit, so I got to do some cover up, and I really want to highlight some of the features here. So I'm going to be doing an overall paint job on this entire thing. Now, normally I would do black everywhere, start with black and go up from there, but I want to leave some of the original colors, probably the grass and lots of the browns in here. So I'm not going to go over this with a black wash first. I'll come back later and highlight some of the things with a black wash. So that's where I'm at. So I spared you guys the play-by-play as I was painting this today. As you can see, I just put the black wash on top. I'm letting it dry thoroughly overnight to see how dark that's going to get. Everything was painted. Everything was highlighted. It's so cool as you're going through this and you're picking out stuff. Like, I had no idea that was a cannon barrel there. That's what the wheel's for. So painted that black, highlighted some of the rocks in there. A lot of the boards I painted. Then I came back. Once it was painted, I went over, lightened the grass up a little bit. Did a gray dry brush on all the logs. I'm not sure how that's turning out, but I didn't use white. I used a darker gray, slate gray on that. And then used a sienna. Paint's still a little wet, but sienna on the dark wood and the wood planks. And then I just darkened the ground up so it didn't look so sandy, I guess you could say. So I still may come back tomorrow after I see what this black wash looks like, and hit some highlights as well that I lost doing the black wash, but you can kind of see there the dry brush that I did with the grays. Here are the colors that I used: slate gray, honey brown. I hit the grass again with this drab color, avocado. Of course, I used raw sienna and black. But we're gonna let this sit a day, see how it looks, and then try to match the other two sides. One thing I failed to mention earlier when I started this project was, if you don't have the center section, if you have a problem trying to find that section, if you're looking for all three, the way Conte designed this is you really don't need it. Those line up perfectly, and you could just have one long barricade as such without putting the explosion piece in the middle. So that's an option there. Okay, so you can see here the dowel rods that I cut. I cut these about 4 inches or so. So they go actually through it on the other side. You can see them. I did not glue them in. I wanted to have them removable just in case for packing purposes. But they're in there pretty solid. And what I did was measured in about 4 inches over and 1 inch up on all these. This way I knew they would line up no matter if I put this piece together. As you can see here, they line up perfectly. Or if I wanted to leave out this section here and put these two together, they would line up perfectly. So I'm getting ready to film this outside, and I thought my hot tub would be big enough to hold this. However, still got about 5 inches or so hanging off the edge. Like I said, this thing is 7 foot wide. And you're going to need a big table when you set this up. July 9th, 2024. Probably one of the hottest days we've had in a while. It's up in the upper 90s. Air conditioning's been running, never stops. And I guess it's pretty accurate, because they said back in the day with Gettysburg and Petersburg, it was one of the hottest days in July when they were fighting. So I guess this is a good throwback to the Civil War era. But I'm about ready to grab some Civil War soldiers and set this up. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this build, this paint, and see you on the next video.
Lose the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory,